It's time to finish and reveal the full, complete, ultimate 2024 NFL quarterback list ranking. We've been working on it for the last 2 weeks. We're going to complete it today. And then we're going to break it down. We're going to talk all the quarterbacks in their entirety. We'll figure it all out. We got that. We got the Phillies, Cardinals this weekend. We're going to talk a little Bryce Harper, a little Taijuan Walker today as well. Sixers, Michkov watch is on. Eagles OTAs from yesterday. There is lots to talk about today. And we are live in 60 seconds, taking all your thoughts and opinions right here on Trending in the AM. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Wherever you are watching, hit that like, subscribe, follow, retweet, share button. Whatever buttons you can do, hit them, share it out, get one, get all into the conversation. The number one sports morning show daily on YouTube right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Those likes, those subscribes, those follows, they're free to do. It does not cost you a thing to help a local content creator out. I cannot stress that enough to you guys. It is free to hit that like button. It is free to hit that follow or subscribe button, whichever platform you're on. It is free to hit the retweet button on YouTube. It doesn't cost you a thing. It takes a half a second. I greatly appreciate it. I'm your host every single morning right here, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on social media. If I'm on the platform, you can find me at Bearded Knowledge. This is what we do every single morning for the new people. We still get new people every day on this show, tuning in, checking it out every day. We talk whatever's trending and whatever you want. Your opinions actually matter here. My man, Patty Bernard in the house this morning. Solid job. B plus work there on Tuesday. Fill in for me, my man. I hope you are well this weekend, everybody. It's Friday. There's lots to talk about today. I'm going to, in about 2 or 3 minutes, we are going to reveal the completed ultimate 2024 NFL quarterback ranking list that we've been rolling out for the last 2 weeks now on this show. The list is complete. The final 3 names are filled in. We are going to look at it and we are going to break it down. I'm sure Sixers rumors and Sixers conversation will come out throughout the show. We will address them as they do. Baseball wise, after a day off, Phillies are back at it this weekend, home against the St. Louis Cardinals. Going to bring up a little Bryce Harper today, the conversation. Hurt, something wrong, not running out grounders. We're going to talk about it. It's a really tricky conversation right now with Bryce Harper. We're going to talk about why Taijuan Walker is still in the starting rotation. Why not? And of course, Eagles OTAs. We're continuing on yesterday. Some little tidbits of information here and there. Good morning. Happy Friday to you, Steve, as well. Great job. But the attacking third duo, Patty Bernard and Steve Fuentes, right there in the comments back to back. So we got lots to cover today. But I want to get started right off the bat with the ultimate quarterback rankings. Marshawn saying, Phil, I'm telling you now, Mavs in 6 or 7. I see you, TMZ. Get him, Phil. We're going to get back to the quarterback list in a second because Marshawn's bringing up a comment, and that's what we do here. I start the conversation wherever you guys go. We go, and it's Friday. So God only, for the regulars, no. God only knows where the conversation goes on a Friday. Mavs in 6 or 7. Dallas Mavericks finally finished off the Minnesota Timberwolves. Thank God. Can't stand Karl Anthony Towns. Could never stand him if he had a NBA trophy. And I see a lot of people talking about this on social media, Marshawn. Is it okay to root for the Dallas Mavericks? Because it's Dallas. And let me just say, first and foremost, I think they stand a chance. It's going to be a 6 or 7 game series. Whether they beat the Celtics or not, I don't know. Celtics are a damn good team. Mavericks are a damn good team. Both the Mavericks and the Celtics should be the blueprint on how to build an NBA championship caliber team, 2 stars, and phenomenal role and depth players across the board. Backups everywhere. But it is okay to root for the Dallas Mavericks to whoop up on the Celtics. We hate Boston, okay? And secondly, 99% of Dallas Mavericks fans aren't Dallas Cowboys. The only reason why people are concerned about rooting for Dallas is because of the Cowboys. 99% of Dallas Cowboys fans don't even know there's a basketball team in Dallas. They think their favorite basketball team is the Lakers. Just saying. So it's okay to root for the Mavs. Now, will they win in 6 or 7? Hoping they win in 6 or 7 is different than will they win. I hope the Mavericks win. I think Luka Doncic is the most underrated player. And I know that's hard to say because everybody thinks he's great. I think Luka Doncic is one of the 2 or 3 best players right now in the NBA. The number 125 and under player in the NBA is Luka Doncic. Can they beat Tatum and Brown and that core group there in Boston? I don't know. It's going to be a close one. And if the betting money, if the Mavs are the underdog in the series, I would consider taking them betting wise because why not? It could go. They're 2 evenly matched teams that do a lot of similar and different things. Friday free for alls are fine. We never know, right? UFL. We never know what's going to happen on a Friday on this show. I love redemption story. I'm here for the Kyrie. Hey, yeah, you got the Kyrie Boston hatred as well. The redemption story. I don't know if there's a redemption. I mean, Kyrie Irving is already a champion, but saw something hilarious. It was Kyrie Irving and Bryson DeChambeau. Kyrie Irving, obviously the Mavericks player, guard. Bryson, the golfer over on Live. 2024 is the Kyrie Irving, Bryson DeChambeau redemption tour. Both of these guys a year or 2 ago were some of the most criticized players or athletes in all of sports. And now Kyrie Irving and Bryson DeChambeau are stars and fan favorites. Has any 2 athletes turned their perception around as quickly as Kyrie Irving and Bryson DeChambeau? Dallas in 6 for me. Great storylines. Kyrie versus Celtics. Luka versus Tatum as the new face of the league. Going to be a great finals. Look, I'm hooked, Steve. I mean, I might not stay awake till 2 in the morning watching a game, but those 8 o'clock start times, I'll be watching them. I'm intrigued by this NBA Finals. Now, I'm a basketball fan. I'm hooked on here. I don't know if casuals are into this series. The NBA wants casuals watching as well, but I'm hooked, Steve, and I'm going to be in it. Mavs went 9 deep rotation last night in the first quarter. We have never seen we never have that shit in Philly. They didn't even play Tim Hardaway. That's crazy. Depth and rotation. And I said at the opening, the cold open, that you never know where the conversation. I want to talk Eagles, my quarterback list, the Phillies, but the NBA Finals are here. And I've said this before in the last week or 2. Daryl Morey needs to be looking. Nick Nurse needs to be looking at the Mavericks, at the Celtics, at this series. Like, this is how we build a team, and this is how we run a championship team. This is the way. Redemption from all the Kyrie hate from the media 2 years ago. Don't forget, we all did. And Marshawn, we did a show probably last year. I'm sure you were in the comments. Would you want Kyrie Irving in Philly? And the majority of the people said no because of that personality. Because I think, and you know what? We were all wrong. Because Kyrie Irving is a winner. And then off the court stuff, you hate it, whatever, but he's a winner. They went 9 deep and played 3 centers in that rotation. That's insane. But you had your 2 stars be elite guards, not one of your stars being a center. And I'm starting to think in my mind a little bit more here and there that you cannot win an NBA championship going through a center. You've got to have an elite guards or an elite wing. Sixers have neither. The Celtics have 2 elite wings. I guess Jalen Brown's a wing. I think he's a 2 guard technically listed, but whatever. I think he's 3. They basically got 2 threes there in Tatum and Brown. Two great wings. And then in Dallas, you got 2 elite guards. And Luka's really a guard forward hybrid. I mean, how many 6'9" guards are there outside of Ben Simmons? But, there ain't many. Jason Kidd deserves a lot of credit, how he coached personalities like Luka. Yeah, you know what? Jason Kidd, when he first became a head coach in the NBA, he wasn't very good. He was a lot of hype, not a lot of success. But he's done a fantastic job controlling those personalities. That's something I worry about with Nick Nurse. If they go out and get LeBron or Paul George and put him with already, can Nick Nurse manage the personalities if you throw more big personalities into the fire? And I don't know. I don't know if that's the case or not. Lively and Gafford is what we think we had in Paul Reed. I think that's a fair thing. I mean, Lively, I can't say I knew much about him till recently, but, he's played well. And Gafford was a great pickup for Boston. We would have loved Gafford on the Sixers. We got another Sixer Philly guy saying Mavs winning this series. Marchand said 6 or 7. Mitchie's got 7. I don't know. I feel like if I agree to Mavs at 6 or 7, that others are going to call me a homer just because I hate Boston. But I really think they could do it. But I do think no matter what, it ain't going to be a 4 or 5 game series. It's going to be a 6 or 7 game series either way. The Mavericks need to take one of those first 2 games in Boston. That is the only way, in my opinion, that they're going to be able to, get this done. They can't go to Boston or get out of Boston down 0-2 and then go to, Dallas and hope to split. They got to win one of those first 2 games. They just have to. In my opinion, they have to win one of the first 2 games to stand a chance in the NBA Finals. Plain and simple. That's just me. So, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. But I'm very, very confident that it's going to be an entertaining series. I'm very confident that it's going to be a close series. I'm very confident that the NBA is in a good place, theoretically, with young stars like Tatum and Luka Doncic going forward. And Tyrese Maxey and some of the other young stars, Anthony Edwards, Gilgeous-Alexander. There's a lot of great young stars. And this series is going to start putting Luka even into another stratosphere and Tatum into another stratosphere, depending on who wins. Did you see Luka last night? This man has been competing against grown men since he was 15. And that is so true. He does not scare them. In Boston, he's going to speak Slovenian to them. I wouldn't want to get into a fight with Luka Doncic. He's a guy that he's one of those tough guy Europeans. Like, yeah. The Luka, the Europeans having kids on their professional teams at such a young age. It's weird, but man, they're ready to play. That's how they get ready. That's kind of like, I'm okay if kids want to come right out of high school and play pro ball. and stick them on a G League team. Draft them and stick them on a G League team instead of rotting on the back of your bench, not developing. And then when you get them ready, you can grow them into professionals, just like the Europeans do in their leagues. I don't care. Look at Luka. Luka is. I honestly, Marshawn, I let you guys steer the conversation. Honestly, I had no clue we were going to spend the first 15 minutes of this show talking the NBA Finals. I wanted to. I've had the NBA Finals written in my notebook here for 2-3 days. Had no clue we were going to get to this point. Will Sixers fans be watching the NBA Finals for what reason? To watch Boston lose? Because it's two great teams going at it, or they'll be watching to learn what it's like to see what a winner is. You know, like I'm watching. The number one reason why I'm watching the finals is not to watch Boston lose. It's this is what I want my Sixers team to look like. Then I'm watching it because it's going to be a great series. Thirdly is the beat Boston thing. I know a lot of Sixers fans are on we've got to cheer for Dallas to beat Boston. And that's their number one reason. No. Watch this to watch what a real NBA team looks like. What stars do. Luka went out, 20 points, Marshawn? For Luka in the first quarter alone? At one point last night in the first quarter, Luka had outscored the Minnesota Timberwolves' entire team personally in the first quarter. He had 20 starts. No offense, and this is not to knock Joel Embiid, not to knock Tyrese Maxey. But when was the last time one of our superstars went out and just took over a basketball game? And then what happened? Luka had 36 points last night, but 20 or 21 in the first quarter. And then Kyrie Irving took over. So you had your star start the game, and then you had your closer finish the game. No offense, Maxey's not there yet. Maxey's still growing into that role. And Joel just can't. Joel's never in a health position to be able to do it. And I don't know if you can do it as a center in the NBA, what Luka did. Again, I'm starting to come around on the Paul George and LeBron James and Jimmy. I'm coming around on those because we need a guy like Luka on this team. Now, I'd prefer it to be a 25-year-old rising star and not a 35-year-old aging vet. But we need to find our Luka. We need to find our Tatum. Well, maybe not Tatum, but you know what I mean. Yeah, they got the labor laws. Yeah, they got 10-year-olds out there, working. Boston had it way easy in the East, and that is the best scenario for anyone. But they are now going up against a team that's going to fight back. Yeah. Boston not having to go up against New York, going up against Indiana, made it easier, for sure. I forget who their first-round opponent. Who was their first-round opponent? Who was the last play-in team? We were the 7, and the NBA playoffs are so hard to remember once the Sixers are out because it was Miami. They had the first round. That's right. Because the NBA playoffs started like 7 months ago, and we're only into the championship round now. So hard to remember 7 months ago, Marshawn, who they even had to play. Luka shot that shit from the parking lot. Dude, Luka was – I watched some of the first quarter and then not going to whatever, but I was flipping back and forth between that and CNN. Other things in our country were going on yesterday, non-sports related or maybe sports related. I don't know. I was watching that and thought Joel ain't doing shit like this in the playoffs, but that's okay. So what we need to do is find that Luka to pair with Joel. And who is that Luka? Who is the best person that we could pair with Joel that could just straight dominate when necessary? Is it LeBron? Because you know what? Let me tell you something. If we could get LeBron on a 2-year deal, give him $100 million, $150 million. I don't give a crap. We'll be in a much better place next year than not. All the names we've rumored about, LeBron, Paul George, Lauri Markkanen, OG Anunoby, Brandon Ingram, Zach LaVine. I heard one person mention Kevin Durant. All these guys. Actually, if anything, as I'm rereading these names, I'm going all in for Mikal Bridges. He's younger. Maybe he could turn into that guy. But you need that guy that could just straight dominate. And hopefully Tyrese Maxey. So see, this is what you need for the Sixers. And you got to watch that this finals. Tyrese Maxey and who are going to be the Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. And then Joel Embiid is just the third star. You can run the offense through your two stars and then have Joel Embiid pick up the pieces. That's what you got to figure out. And you got to hope that Nick Nurse decides to switch the style offense away from Joel. It's not saying Joel's not going to still score 25 points a game, get 10 rebounds a game. Let him affect the game effectively in different ways. I'm a Celtics fan, but I want Kyrie to get a ring right now. How could you be a Celtics fan, John? Yeah, I might. You were on timeout mode for a while, like you put yourself in timeout mode, work wise, and all. Now you're back, and now you're telling me you're a Celtics fan. I will say, the NBA is in an interesting place. You got a lot of older, aging superstars, LeBron, Jimmy Butler, and whatnot. Steph Curry's getting up there in age. Durant's getting older. You've got two pretty young guys that are elite playing in this NBA Finals in Luka and Jason Tatum. The NBA is in an interesting place right now, in my opinion. I hate the Celtics. They bored. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. 1,000%. I just realized I didn't turn something on my side phone here. So I got to do this real quick and keep this going here. And what do we got here? But Phil, even Kyrie showed up, and he may be the greatest legit number 2 option in the history of the NBA. Point is, Luke and Kyrie combined for 70. But absolutely agree. I'm not disagreeing with what you said here. Kyrie did show up, and that's important. That's what we need. So who is going to be the person that shows up next to Tyrese Maxey so that Joel Embiid doesn't have to do everything? What would you rather? Joel Embiid be the number 3 option, but because he's the number 3 option, he's 100% come playoff time, or be one of the top options, and then we're right back to square one come playoff time every single year. Let Joel be the 3rd option. That means he's not getting 25 free throws a game because the offense isn't going through him. So he's not getting beat up and knocked around. That's what we need to figure out. And that is what I am going to be paying attention to this playoff series. Is what is the way that this should be done? And you know what else I'm paying attention to? It's SherryTickets.com. Great moments don't just happen. They happen when you are in the crowd. SherryTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less, play more. SherryTickets.com. And get the tickets you want. Save even more by using promo code EOP10. That's EOP10 at checkout and get you 10% off. So no hidden fees and 10% off. Why would you use any other ticket reseller? If you need a more personal touch, you can give them a call, 610-494-5050. But again, SherryTickets.com. Don't overpay with the rest. Save with the best. SherryTickets.com. Promo code EOP10 at checkout. I just missed a boatload doing that. Oh, that was the last comment. Okay. I don't like Kyrie, and I will not root for him. Well, that is your prerogative. His opinion sucked, but he's a damn good basketball player. Sixers got dominated on the rebound. Sixers have plenty of scoring. Maybe. Kyrie was extorted for $500 million. What? $500 million? I got into basketball in 2009. Brother was a Kobe and Lakers fan. I just went you just went the other way. Okay, gotcha. That would be like me becoming a Cowboys fan because my brother was a 49ers fan. See, I didn't do that. I stayed true to who I am. Is K1 boycotting trending? Who cares? I only care about the people that are here. What's up, Eric? How are you? I know you were part of the replay gang yesterday. Muchas gracias, senor. I see him. Yeah. Look. I've been saying this for years. When you have a team built around one player, when that player goes down, so does your team. Yeah, but also on the flip side, you don't have to build around 3 people. You can build around 2 stars, a 1A and a 1B. And my question is, can Joel still be that 1A or 1B? You look at the NBA Finals. Those 2 teams, their 4 biggest stars are not centers. Not centers. He's waiting for the quarterback rank. I thought I would already have the quarterback ranking posted. But unfortunately, We're talking Kyrie Irving in the NBA Finals. Sixers got dominated in the fight department. We can have the greatest team, but these boys don't have that fight. Have you ever seen Shaq? I mean, that's going back to last year. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Last year. Joel getting yelled at. It might have been 2 years ago. I'm honestly not even sure now. But I get it. No one's yelling at Jason Tatum. Luka. Kyrie. You down with EOP? Yeah, you know me. That's right. That's right. Happy Friday to everybody. It is Friday. It's a beautiful weekend. It might rain a little bit Sunday, but it's a beautiful weekend right now here in the Philadelphia area, guys. So let's enjoy it. I got actually a busy-ass weekend, but, it is what it is. Let's see here. Edge of my seat for my rankings. Yeah, I don't know what's more exciting for the crowd right now. Me doing my Sherry or my David Cherry reading, or me revealing the final 32 quarterback list. Probably about $500 million. He lost his shoe deal. Okay, gotcha. I thought I forgot about the shoe deal situation, Judd. Forgot about that. And yes, look, he could have saved that $500 million shoe deal if all he did after tweeting it out. The problem was that he didn't make any state, like he kept being asked about what he did or why and he just refused to discuss it. All he had to do was explain himself, and maybe things would have changed. But yeah, okay, I remember that though now. Who cares about basketball when there's quarterback rankings and cherry bombs? Wait, right. And Bryce Harper not running out ground ball conversations to have. I do want to have that conversation. I also want to talk about Jorge Lopez, the Mets pitcher, today. If anybody has seen that video from 2 days ago that got him cut from the New York Mets. Yeah, I get it. I wasn't thinking. I kind of forgot about that. The fact that he lost all those endorsements in the shoe deal, I forgot about that part of it. So thank you for refreshing. I'd like Embiid to hover around 25, 10, and 6. I just like Embiid to hover and not be banging and falling. I don't want to call it flopping like everybody else, because Luka flops. Luka does the lean back in, the play that was outlawed but not outlawed. Tatum does all these stars do things we don't like, flopping or whatever, trying to draw fouls. But if we're not centering the offense around Joel Embiid, he won't get the opportunity to get hit as many times. So I'm looking at all these names available for the Sixers, and I'm thinking, this is how you build an NBA roster. When do the NBA Finals start? I think we got a good week till they start. So we can continue this conversation for the next week, probably. I think it's June 5th or June 6th is the first game. Today's the last day of May. Do you guys realize today's the last day of May? It's the end of Mental Health Awareness Month. So do me a favor, guys. Today's the last day of mental health awareness. And we've had a lot of things in sports towards mental health, suicides, and stuff like that in the last couple of weeks. Do me a favor. If everybody could do one thing for me this weekend, you don't got to send me a tip in the tip jars that are linked below. You don't have to do that. I want each and every one of you to text or call a friend and just say, hey, hope you're doing okay. Someone you haven't talked to in a while. Hope you're well. What's up? That's all you got to do. It could be the meaning of helping someone more than you realize. So let's end Mental Health Awareness Month by just saying, what up, to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. That might be down the dumps. Do that for me today, please. The Mountie spent hard times in jail. What? Who's the Mountie? I don't even know. Release the laptop, Phil, you the gatekeeper. What? You want me to release my laptop? I don't even understand that. He didn't take it back. Look, Kyrie didn't have to take back his opinion. His opinion is his own, whatever. But he could have explained himself. I would trade the 16th pick for Bobby Portis straight up. Bobby Portis straight up? I don't know. Maybe. I think you're gonna. Here's the thing: you sign some free agents, a Paul George or LeBron James, and use that 16th pick to trade for the best possible bench pieces or rotational or depth pieces like Bobby Portis. It's a plan for Portis or Caruso or anything. It's a plan. It's an idea. Nobody segues better than Phil. Look, I try my best to do as many great segues as I can. One thing I will not accept in my nation is an alternate options. Yeah. 16th pick for Jacob Pulte. Brunson twerks into contact. So does Luka. He is. Yes, absolutely. For sure. 16th pick and Paul Reed for Brogdon and Robert Williams, but I ain't calling him Time Lord or Prince of Persia. Yeah, I'm thinking. I've thought about Brogdon already. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure anymore. About that. Unironically, exactly what the Sixers need. There's a lot of things that the Sixers need, and that's the problem. Thank you. 16th pick for Kuzma. No, I'm not a Kyle Kuzma guy. I think Kyle Kuzma is. I think he's a little overrated. Joel Embiid is a center. He's supposed to dominate physically, not flop. I agree. And I think some of it's flopping. I think some of the flopping isn't flopping. Him actually just getting beat up when he's down there. 16th pick for Hunter or Bogdanovic. You sign the free agents that are out there, and then use that 16th pick to grab one or two players. I think that is possibly the best avenue to take. Paul Reed in the 16th pick for Caruso and sign and trade Patrick Williams. I can get behind that. I can get behind that one right there. I'm not a Caruso guy in the sense where the people were last offseason making him out to be this great player. He's a great defensive player. He's a great role player. He's a great teammate. But he can't be one of your top 2 or 3 stars on the team. Caruso to me, and this just popped in my head, and I don't even know if this is even remotely going to make sense. Caruso is like TJ McConnell. Just better. He's the glue that holds your team together. He's gonna fight for that loose ball. He's gonna put up shots when necessary. If there's no time, if he doesn't need to take shots, he's not going to take shots. He's going to play hard-nosed defense. His teammates are going to follow him into battle, and they're the comparisons to T.J. McConnell. It's the type of player we haven't had on this team. A leader, not a star, but he's a leader. Caruso, just like T.J. McConnell. Like Embiid flops like real, yeah. Ex-Sixer Rashawn Holmes is a free agent. I like him in a backup center. I don't know if I'm ready to go back to that well again. But what we need to figure out, Mista, is what the offense is going to look like. Is it still going to be run through Joel Embiid? If it is run through Joel Embiid, then you need to find a center that can play and start 25 games a year. That was the problem. Paul Reed and Mo Bamba couldn't start. They could fill in a backup role when Joel Embiid was out there. Just fine. 10 minutes of Paul Reed, whatever. I know he got exposed in the playoffs, but whatever. But 30 minutes of Paul Reed or Mo Bamba, that's not good enough. And that's the thing with Rashawn Holmes. Rashawn Holmes might be a fine option as a backup center, but Rashawn Holmes ain't stepping in when Joel Embiid goes down. Rashawn Holmes is a solid backup center, but not a guy that can start. For Pulte sign and trade Gary Trent. Yeah, I'm okay with the Gary Trent idea. I've heard a few people post that around. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Rashawn Holmes is it because of the fact that I don't think he could start. Okay. Caruso is the Kobe Bryant of the TJ McConnells. Yeah, okay. Like I said, I was trying to make that comparison of Caruso to McConnell, but make sure I put out there that Caruso's 3 steps ahead of TJ McConnell in overall talent. But that's the type of player you need. You need a TJ McConnell or a Caruso. Somebody that's just going to go out there and lead by example. Improve your mental health by tuning into ABC tomorrow at 1 p.m. for week 1 of the Premier Lacrosse League as your Philadelphia Water Dogs take on the defending champs, Utah Archers. Muffler Mike. Absolutely. I wrote this note down a couple days ago. It was 2 days ago notes. Never got to say it. I can tune in and watch the National Lacrosse League easier than I can find and watch the MLS Philadelphia Union. Make that make sense to me, people. Make that make sense. I would probably do that trade too, Marshawn. I think he's up for a huge contract extension this offseason, and then the Pacers are going to lock him down. He ain't leaving Indiana. Philly made a big mistake by not keeping TJ McConnell. Oh, yeah, I forgot Embiid is made out of Q-tips. You'll need a better backup center. You need somebody that can step in and start 20 to 25 games. Because let me tell you something. This whole playoff scenario possibly plays out differently. If Daryl Morey would have gone out and gotten a legitimate backup center, and everybody says Andre Drummond, whatever. Andre Drummond was not the only center that was probably available at the deadline. If we go out and get a legit guy that can start down the stretch till Joel Embiid came back from the deadline till then, we might win 4 more games. We might finish in the 5 or 6 seed, maybe the 4 seed. I think there's only a couple games difference between the 4 and 6 seed. We win 3 or 4 more games. And then we've got home court. Then we're not playing. Everything plays out differently. We're not facing the Knicks when we did. That Daryl Morey, massive to blame there. But you've got to have a backup center that can fill that role. Caruso is more like a Josh Hart with better defensive prowess. I think that's a great comparison. So it's TJ McConnell. Josh Hart is like TJ McConnell, and then Caruso is like Josh Hart. Caruso's the best of those role-ish players that play at a pretty strong level. The Kobe Bryant of the role players. You need that kind of player. Who was the Caruso or the McConnell or the Josh Hart on the Sixers the last 2 years? There wasn't one. That's a problem. Yeah, lacrosse, I know. I don't know anything about I don't know a lot about soccer, but I look like freaking the smartest soccer analyst of all time when it's comparing soccer to lacrosse. I don't even know. Is there a name for the lacrosse stick? It's a puck, not a ball, right? I don't even know. I know nothing about lacrosse. It's basically soccer with a stick and a ball, right? I don't know. Adamantium Q-tips. Yeah. Q-tips. That's hilarious. Guys, real quick. We are brought to you here at Trending in the AM and Edge of Philly Sports by PhillySportsTrips.com. If you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. Travel at PhillySportsTrips.com. They offer premium travel and tailgating experiences for the best fans ever, Philadelphia sports fans. Self-travel packages, full travel packages, bus trips, flights, hotel stays, you name it, they got it. PhillySportsTrips.com. Sign up. Let them know you heard about them right here on Train the AM on Edge of Philly Sports. You want to do something really extra special this end of this summer? Head to Brazil to see our Philadelphia Eagles play the Green Bay Packers. Brazil! Week 1 of the NFL season. If that's too much for you, coming up in 2 weeks, they got a short little trip up to Boston to see the Phillies at Fenway. They got a day trip probably on a bus down to Baltimore. These include tailgate packages, tickets, your transportation. That would be a fun day trip to take in June. Or in July, they got this great trip to Chicago to see the Phillies take on the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. Guys, PhillySportsTrips.com. Let them know EOP sent you. Let them know Trending in the AM was talking about them. PhillySportsTrips.com. That's the way to do your fan experience right there, guys. Brazil. I like how you guys put the TH in there. Do I really sound like that much of a lisp? I'm saying in my mind, I hear Zil, not Vil. I hear Brazil. Do I got to enunciate the Z a little bit more for you guys? Because it's Brazil. What's going to happen week 2 with when I got to do the Philly Sports Trips ad read come week 2 of the NFL season? How am I going to do it? I'm not going to be able to say Brazil anymore. The quality of this show will drastically go downhill once I can't say Brazil anymore. No one besmirches the name of Johan Embiid, the brittle king of Wakanda on my watch. We're really going deep there on that one. That's on a Saturday too. Yeah. Sixers need 3rd star. My man Brian. Backup center, athletic wings, backup Pete. So you just joined the conversation now. We started talking this instead of football because you look at what Luka and the Mavericks are doing, what the Celtics are doing, how to build a team. They don't need a 3rd star. They need a 1A or a 1B to pair with Tyrese Maxey, so Joel Embiid is not the focal point of the offense anymore. Yes, they need a backup center for sure, and that 2nd star could be a wing. looking at the teams, Brian, that are in the NBA Finals, tell me that your opinion of maybe going out and getting a Paul George or LeBron James or one of those, Brandon Ingram, hasn't changed. We need a guy that can go out there just like Luka and just straight dominate in a closeout playoff game. And we don't have one of those. Almost like we need the star. We need the one. We've got the 2 and 3 in Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. We don't have the one. Now, I don't know if Paul George is a one. LeBron still is to an extent. That's the thing. BR, is that supposed to be an emoji? Last leg of the Triple Crown this Saturday, is it? Couldn't even have told. What was the last one? The Preakness. So this is the Belmont Stakes. Is that this one? I know the Kentucky Derby was first, and the Preakness was last, right? It was the one that was a couple weeks ago, and now it's the Belmont this time. I don't know. I tried to download the addition to DraftKings to bet the last horse race, but then they wanted me to make. I couldn't link my money, and I had to deposit. I wasn't depositing more money into DraftKings. Screw that. I don't think there's another Luka. Well, there's not. Luka's a special kind of player, and I've been saying that for a while now. So yeah, this is third leg's the Belmont. I couldn't have told you whether the last one was the Preakness or the Belmont. Thought it was the Preakness. It is what it is. It's gonna be a fun weekend. Baseball's on the mind of everybody this weekend. But we're gonna switch pages here for a few minutes because I want to bring up my quarterback list. That it was what the show title was. I want to finish. Oh, there's something else. It's Delco Day. Delco Day is this weekend as well. That's a big deal, Delco Day. If you guys are in the Sea Cane, Springfield, Ridley area this weekend, look up Delco Day. You're not going to want to miss Delco Day. 16th pick and another first for Murray and Bogdanovich or Hunter. I'm all. I don't think that's all it's going to take. Marshawn, I think you're going to have to do 3 firsts to get that, which I would probably do that. A Murray and Maxey backcourt to grow together with Joel being the third guy. I'm on board with that. Then you got Bogdanovich as a shooter. Give it to me all day. There is a gigantic festival and party. I don't think I got the Delco Day graphic. I wonder what happens if I do this here. Because I bet you I could get a Delco Day graphic. Where would it be? EOP Live. Delco Day 9, right here. Here it is. This is Delco Day 9 right here. I had to switch some things up. This is the Delco Day event. Okay, it's in CK, the JT Brewskis. It's a huge thing. Lots of sponsors, lots of stuff happening at Delco Day. Go check this out. CK, that's where I grew up, in CK. All right, I got to get back from the EOP banner back to the Trending in the AM banner. Get that off of there. Back to these comments here. Leave a pack of menthol cigarettes out for the Delco. While the Mavs and Celtics are showing you the way to the NBA now, Daryl Morey is at home studying the roster construction of the lockout finals. Runner-up. Yeah, that's the thing. I think we all see what the Sixers need. The problem is we don't trust Daryl Morey to see it. We don't. If I'm parting with 3 firsts, I'm leaving with Murray, Bogdanovich, and Hunter. I don't know. I think Murray alone, if Murray gets traded, Murray alone is worth 2 picks, at least, in the mind of probably a lot of NBA GMs. So you're going to have to overpay. If you want all 3, you're probably giving up 4 first-round picks. You're probably giving up Paul Reed as well. Stocking stuffed with Wawa hoagies, yeah. PA all day. That's right, guys. All right, so let's do it. Do we have a drum roll? Is there a drum roll anywhere around here? I don't even know. I want to make the sound effect, but I don't know. I got sound effects on here. We'll just hit a random sound effect. I don't know which one. Here. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I just gave a laugh. I just hit a random sound effect and it was a laugh. Our Hawks need to unload contracts for their rebuild. Yeah. So drum roll, please. We are going to do the final unveiling of my ultimate 2024 NFL quarterback ranking list, okay? We've been working on this for 2 weeks now, releasing 3 or 4 names a day, all right? 3 or 4 names a day. I got it as an overlay. You guys don't have to look at my pretty face for the next few minutes. But here is the final official list. No. We're finishing it now because I'm going to blow this up all over social media all weekend long. We've got all next week. The finals don't start till next Thursday, Friday, something like that. We got all next week to continue this conversation and title a show and center a show around it. So we will. Here is the list. Showtime. Yeah, that's right. Jalen Hurts and fourth. Jalen Hurts is number 4 on my list. So I haven't released this. I got Patrick Mahomes number 1. We knew that. We did not show 2, 3, or 4 yesterday. Number 2 on my list is Joe Burrows. Joe Cool. Number 3. I got my number 3 right here. You can't see it. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. And number 4, Jalen Hurts. That's a big drop for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was number 2 last year. He's number 4 this year. Do you like this? I could go hand signals this way. I'm like directing an airplane here, okay? Why isn't Jalen Hurts 4th? Who are you taking over Jalen Hurts? And don't tell me you're not putting Jalen Hurts at 4th because you heard he threw a couple interceptions at a voluntary OTA yesterday. Eagles Nation, Eagles Twitter is freaking out because Kenny Pickett looks better than Jalen Hurts in a voluntary OTA. Ain't happening. Worried about Embiid. That Bell's palsy came out of nowhere. Never seen it with an NBA star, but it can always pop up. How is C.J. Stroud? C.J. Stroud's had 1 year. 1 year. And he's been elite. And I put him at 5. But Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl in the playoffs 3 straight years as a starter. So C.J. Stroud might be ahead of Jalen Hurts after this year. But right now, he is not. Train the AM Tramp Stamp Edition, the ultimate official 2020. I like that. He threw 2 picks. Wow. I know. People are crushing Jalen Hurts for what he's doing in camp in one day. It's ludicrous. The Jalen Hurts haters are loving the fact that Jalen Hurts had a bad voluntary practice. When you share the quarterback graphic online, leave one of your arms stay. Yeah, you want me to go like this? With number 2, number 3. How many fingers am I holding up? I think if I go like this, it kind of gets in the way of that. You can't tell. Yeah, I love it. I think that's hilarious. Personally, I thought that clicked. Did that not click up? There we go. Personally, I'd go Jalen over Lamar. In another year, though, I may not take him over CJ. I'm curious to see how the guy progresses. Yes. And something we're going to do later this offseason, next week, maybe. I don't know. It's in my notes to save for a day when I'm struggling. Which quarterbacks are under the most pressure? I think Lamar and Jalen Hurts out of the top 5 are under a lot of pressure. I got crushed yesterday on Twitter when I posted the graphic with Josh Allen at 7. Jalen going to hurt us this season. I don't know. I disagree. I thoroughly disagree. I think Jalen Hurts, there's 2022 Jalen Hurts, there's 2023 Jalen Hurts, somewhere in between, which is a pretty damn elite quarterback. Yeah, that's right, Freddie. Way to pull that one out. I kind of teed that up for anybody that wanted to make that joke. And finally, someone picked it up, Freddie. Glad you picked it up. Joe Burrow is having a lot of injuries. He might have to drop in the rankings soon. I agree with that, mister. Joe Burrow has to stay healthy for a year or 2 in a row. Joe Burrow is kind of like Joel Embiid. Super, super elite talent. Just doesn't stay healthy all the time. Just saying. Always banged up come playoff time. But there's no doubting that Joe Burrow is supremely talented. I will also be concerned or curious about Joe Burrow because both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are both holdouts right now in camps. They're both looking extensions. They're not showing up to the OTAs in Cincinnati. What happens if Cincinnati doesn't extend their wide receivers? I find it funny that he's trying to get timing down with a wide receiver and tight end crew that is 75% different from last year. Yeah. I mean, I'm actually quite concerned about the wide receiver and tight end crew still, the depth behind the top 3 names of A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. My man, Ed Kratz, I think it was, or was it Martin Frank? I think it was Ed Kratz. No, it was Mark Perner that was on the show a couple weeks ago. Said, have we overrated Dallas Goedert? Dallas Goedert is supremely talented, but he's never healthy. The amount of criticism we do for Joel Embiid being hurt. Dallas Goedert is this elite tight end, supposedly. He's always hurt. But we downplay Pickett because it's practice, though. Nobody's downplaying Kenny Pickett for having a good practice. Just saying, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Kenny Pickett is nowhere near on Jalen Hurts' level. If I put backup quarterbacks on this list, Kenny Pickett wouldn't be in the top 40. Embiid had Bell's palsy. I don't know if I'm allowed to laugh at that, but I am going to laugh at that. People are giving him crap for practicing to get it correct. I know. Look, I think it shows that you obviously want your starting quarterback there. But there's a lot of guys that aren't showing up to every one of these voluntary OTAs. Devontae Smith hasn't been to any of them yet. James Bradbury hasn't, but that's probably because he's not going to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is when we come live on Monday morning, James Bradbury might not be an Eagle anymore. I got to write that down to not forget to start that off with the show that he is or isn't an Eagle anymore. We need to start giving these high draft picks reps so we can utilize our wealth to trade. Aaron Rodgers is cooked. I don't know. I feel that having Aaron Rodgers at 8 is either way too high or way too low. And I can't wait to bring this list back up, say week 6 or 7 or 8 of the NFL season, to see how right or wrong I am. I can make a case that I should have dropped Aaron Rodgers to like the 12 or 13 range for sure, mister. We have too many built-in excuses for Jalen. What excuses are we building in? Jalen Hurts has led this team to the playoffs 3 years and taken the team to the Super Bowl. Joel Embiid hasn't gotten his team out of the second round of the playoffs. Hell, not out of the first round of the playoffs for the last 2 years. 2 years ago, Jalen Hurts was having one of the greatest performances in Super Bowl history, albeit in a losing effort. There's a big difference between Jalen Hurts and Joel Embiid, Marshawn. Huge difference in success. Dallas could be as good as Kittle. Could be. But he's not. You know why? Because he's never healthy. And Dallas Goedert, we hype Dallas Goedert up all the time, but he's never there. I've done the Birds of a Roundtable prediction show on EOP for years now, even before I was part of EOP. Yeah, you know me. And every year there's a question, over, under yards receiving for Dallas Goedert, and I pick the under, and I'm right every single year because the guy is never on the field long enough to prove how elite he can be. And it's not his first or second year. Dallas Goedert's been in the league for, 2018 when we drafted him? Something like that. He's been in the league for 5 years now. Joe Burrow, number 2. Damn straight he is. I'm surprised you're not saying. One of the names I've gotten criticized on this list for the most is not Jalen Hurts overall on social media. And these top 4 names will be released today on social media. I've gotten criticized for 7 Josh Allen, 6 Brock Purdy, 15 Justin Herbert, 14 Trevor Lawrence, and obviously Geno and Kirk Cousins at 2021. They're the things I've taken the most flack for. I've taken a little flack for Daniel Jones at 28 because Giants fans out there still think he's good. And Bryce Young at 32 and Will Levis at 31 I've taken a lot of flack for. But for the most part, I think people have enjoyed this list when I put it out there. It is. So I'm just banking on the fact that he's going to be healthy and he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. No, he's not cooked. He's definitely baked. Yeah. Love ain't bearing up beating us. I'm assuming you mean week 1. No, I don't think so either. I don't. I think the Eagles win week 1 in Brazil. That time I went with the TH for you guys. Hurts at 4. What in the world? What, you want him 1? I'll put him at 1 if you want me to, TMZ. Pickett is practicing against the second-string defense with a bunch of rookies. Phil could lead a scoring drive. I don't know about that. I could throw a couple passes probably, especially in practice since you're not allowed to hit me. Like you can't sack me. I wouldn't be able to get up from a sack, mister. But I can throw a couple deep balls, a couple out patterns. I think I can still do it. Isaiah Rodgers might. Travis, there are some great reports coming out of Isaiah Rodgers, not just last week, but yesterday's OTA as well. I said it when we brought him in, before last season. Super low risk, super high reward move from Howie Roseman, getting him for nothing. Former third-round pick. Now, I'll bite it. Keely Ringo missed one of the OTAs that were open to the public. James Bradbury hasn't been there yet. Probably won't be ever. Darius Slay wasn't there yesterday. So he's getting opportunity. Now, I think once everybody is healthy and everybody's in camp, I don't know about that. But I think he will be. I just lost my pen. It's a good thing I got a backup pen right here. That's not even a pen. This is just a pointer. I think Isaiah Rodgers will be our fourth quarter. I still think it'll be Slay on the outside with Quinion Mitchell and either Rodgers or Vontae Maddox as your slot. I think there'll be a rotation. So depending on the situation, maybe Rodgers sometimes, maybe Maddox sometimes, maybe Cooper DeJean sometimes. I think that slot/safety position is going to be rotated a little bit. Deshaun Watson is number 16 on my list, if you can't say it. Purdy is going to be one of those guys that once he's out of the San Francisco system, he'll be a quarterback too. Maybe. But again, the whole Brock Purdy is a system quarterback. I hate 49ers fans. I hate whiny 49ers fans so much. But the whole he's a system quarterback, and that's the only reason why he has success, I think that's a bogus philosophy. A lot of quarterbacks are great in the system that they're in. A lot of teams build their system around their quarterback. Okay? Brock Purdy has led this team to a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy has a hell of a winning record as a starter. To me, Brock Purdy's just fine. Brock Purdy's got to get some respect around NFL circles, not in San Francisco. He's baked, processed, banged up, and has an expiration date of 2022. Very, very possible. We knew Isaiah Rodgers was going to be good, and we'd be fighting for quarterback. Yeah, look, the only thing that concerned me with Isaiah Rodgers was sitting out for a full year. There's a difference between staying in shape and staying in game shape. And you see it with a lot of athletes, whether it's injuries, suspensions, jail time. That first year back, there's a slow start to it. It takes a little time to get their legs under them. So I wasn't sure whether I was expecting a lot out of Isaiah Rodgers right from the get-go. But I love it. We will lead the division in picks easily. It's crazy. And I talked about this with Shane Half yesterday on this show. I hope we didn't overcompensate and cause issues elsewhere on the team by overcompensating. But Howie Roseman saw us get destroyed in the secondary last year and spent big money and draft pick wise. So you got to love that. Actually, Purdy has a winning percentage similar to Hurts. So we're ready to give Hurts. Well, some of us are ready to give Hurts his flowers. But yet nobody's ready to give Purdy his flowers. I think if we weren't Eagles fans watching this show, we weren't 49ers fans or Eagles fans, there's a case to be made to put Brock Purdy ahead of Jalen Hurts. Just saying. Brock Purdy needs to get... How do I say this? Brock Purdy being the system... I mean, let me look at some of these guys. Russell Wilson found his success being part of a system in Seattle. Jared Goff has now been in a system and made 2 deep runs. Aaron Rodgers was part of a system his whole career. Josh Allen, part of a system his whole career. Rodgers said he went to the coaches and got what was to be done at practices, at practice schedule, and did the exact thing at home. Aaron Rodgers, the person. Aaron Rodgers, the teammate, is a bleepity blankety bleep. But Aaron Rodgers, the football player, Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, is pretty damn elite. 90 and 98 might be the best duo this year. Are you talking about our defensive tackles, Travis? I mean, I wrote down some notes from my man Jordan Davis talking. Okay. And you can talk about his weight and how he's in better shape. He says he's around 350 pounds and he's down significantly from last year. But the quote that stood out for me, him talking when he was asked about the difference between Fangio and his predecessors. I like how they used the word predecessors. They didn't name the other coordinators. There's no BS. There's no bullshit. It's all ball. That was his answer. That's the Vic Fangio style of defensive coordinating right there. The New Jersey Jets fans, I love how you said that, the New Jersey Jets fans, because that's accurate, believe this is the year. Too bad they're going to be disappointed again. It'll be their year to make the playoffs. As long as Rodgers is healthy. They might even win that division if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, mister. But I don't think they're the best team in the AFC. Not even the top 2 or 3. No Isaiah Rodgers. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. I got you. But yeah, but that doesn't matter on the Isaiah Rodgers front. Him working at home or in a home gym or at a Planet Fitness to stay in shape and learn things doesn't mean that his legs are still under him. His football legs. We probably use some of our corners to round out our wide receivers. We probably could. He watched the bleeps. Phil, this is a morning show. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't got a dump button. Nolan Smith is BG Jr. Nolan Smith spoke yesterday about being in better shape, about being healthier, adding on a little bit of muscle, being ready. We're going to take the quarterback list off there. We're still green, just so you know, or orange. Still orange, because we're still looking out for Matvei Michkov. We're still on the lookout for him. We are. But all that being said, it definitely seems like there is a slight culture change on the defense coming out of OTAs. Jordan Davis also was asked about Fletcher Cox being gone. And we heard last week, we heard some great comments from Jalen Carter about, no, I'm not the leader yet to replace Fletcher Cox, but I'm working on it. And Jordan Davis yesterday spoke and said, no one's coming to save us. We got to move on and do better. Talking about him and Jalen Carter. And I guess maybe theoretically, Milton Williams. There's a little bit of a maturity uptick between Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter going on. A little bit of a taking things maybe a little bit more seriously going on with those two. And you love to see it. No, Isaiah Rodgers actually watched film on Tuesday like the team. That's fine. I'm not doubting that he put work in during his year off. But it doesn't mean his legs are still there. And that's what I was talking about. That my concern wasn't about Isaiah Rodgers, the player, was how long was it going to take for him to get his legs under him, to be back in football shape. That takes time. You could do all the film study. You could do all the weight training at Planet Fitness. You could do. Why did I mention Planet Fitness's name now 3 times? They're not a sponsor of this show. They now need to. They owe me money. I mentioned their name free of charge. They owe me money now. They do. Guys, and if they don't give me money, you know what's coming. If they do not give me some money for mentioning their name 3 times for free, then I'm going to call my friend David Archerry of the Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, call David Archerry of the Cherry Law Firm. He's a well-established, dedicated personal injury lawyer built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of Pennsylvania. If you've been seriously injured in the state of PA or by the negligence of another, or if you have any questions, just give him a call. Don't hesitate. 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David Archerry fight for your rights. Again, that number is 610-565-0300, or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Guys, you're watching Trend in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Hit that like and subscribe button, that follow button, that retweet button, that share button. Please, 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 like. Smash that subscribe button. We've now passed 13,400. Every week, we're gaining another 50 to 100 followers on the YouTube page here of EOP. My personal page is up to 41. Facebook, we're over 50,000 followers. Guys, it's important. It means a lot to small-time content creators or big-time ones. It's free to do. Those likes and shares and subscribes help bring more people into the conversation, which is great for you, all of us, and B, helps these brands and this show grow. Free. Doesn't cost you a thing. You don't got to put anything in the tip jar. All you got to do is hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Yes, that's all you got to do. Of course, there was only one cherry bomb in the comment. You guys are losing your thing. Fangio is old school. He's building a physical defensive culture. That's the thing right there. It's not just building a physical defense. It's a physical culture. You got to the defense needed a culture change as much as more talent. Accountability on defense. Bringing this lineup's making me miss to think of one of those games late in the season because there was multiple games. Yeah, I know. I butchered the ad read. I did. I set myself up, but then I butchered it. I don't know. It's Friday, guys. I got like a $300 catering order that I got to get in and make. It's on my mind right now. Came in super late last night. There'll be accountability under Fangio. That's the old school physical culture. And it makes me think back to the games last year when I literally watched James Bradbury stop, turn around, and run away from ball carriers because he didn't want to tackle. There was no accountability last year. There's accountability this year under Vic Fangio. And that I love. And again, I apologize to my man David Archer. He might sue me for the butchered ad read. Phil will put them in the Stiefel crossface. Okay. All right. Yeah, because we can't use the other name, the Crippler. We can call it the Labella Lock if you want. There we go. We finally got a third cherry bomb. Yeah, how dare you guys. Amateur hour from me on the read. Amateur hour from you guys dropping the cherry bomb. The Eagles defense and Fangio got the Dolphins looking soft like big cats. And you can't teach that. That was so long ago, and I still remember that. Couple of haters. Anybody that doesn't like Jalen Hurts, they're just a couple of haters. Isn't that what he used to say? Enzo Amore. Yeah. Opposing teams' quarterbacks will need David Archer when they get destroyed at the link. I hope so. That's the theory. That's the thought. That's the thread that this Eagles defense will be better, more disciplined. There's more talent, obviously. Just think about this. Tyler Roseman saw our defense, how bad it was last year. Loses Fletcher Cox to retirement. Trades away Hassan Reddick. And what does he do? He brings in Bryce Huff, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in free agency. He brings in Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean in the draft. Last year it's like a draft and stash in the NBA when you draft a guy and you stash him over in Europe for a few years. Most of those guys don't ever work out. But he stashed Isaiah Rodgers all of last year. That's how you address an offseason. And again, we've made this joke before on this show, bringing it full circle to the Sixers conversation for the day. Daryl Morey needs to be taking a page out of Howie Roseman's book, addressing issues on this team, going and attacking them for now and the future. Because you think about it, he brought in guys ready to play now, and he's been building the youth movement on this defense for 2 or 3 years on top of it. Offensively is stacked, but a majority of the guys that were stacked on let's just think about this. We're not that old team anymore. Yeah, Lane Johnson is older and towards the back end of his career. Yeah, Brandon Graham's in his last year. Darius Slay's the second half of his career. But we're an actual pretty young team now. Offensive line, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Tyler Steen. 4 of your 5 offensive linemen, young as can be. Your wide receivers are both young in Smith and A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts is obviously one of the younger quarterbacks in the NFL. Defensively speaking, mostly 27 or 26 and below. How you doing? Enzo Amore and Big Cass, their careers were perfect. It's not to get on a wrestling tangent. That is prototypical WWE not sticking with something that works and trying too hard to break tag teams up. That tag team worked. Should have just stayed together forever. And then you split them up. Both their careers failed. They've both gone on to nothing since then. In other companies even. Stupid. Everybody, WWE is a bunch of haters with them. Bunch of haters. I want to throw two final things into the conversation for today as we get to the final 20 minutes of the show. One, Bryce Harper related, and one, Jorge Lopez related. So first and foremost, if you guys don't know, Jorge Lopez was, I use that word was accurately because he no longer is a pitcher for the New York Mets. And he, after the game the other night, as he got pulled out of the game, I guess he got rocked or something, threw his glove into the crowd. And after the game was interviewed, and he said, basically, I play on the worst team in the world. Now, it does, if you play it back, sound like he might have said teammate, but then he reiterated, no, I said team in the world, the New York Mets. And we've talked about this before, wanting our athletes to be more honest and open. But my man Jorge Lopez, or George Lopez, or whatever you want to call him, went so honest that he literally said he's not a good pitcher, Jorge Lopez. He's a minor league quality player, played in the pros for like 7-8 years. I looked up his stats yesterday. They're not good. Actually, they might still be up on my side screen. They are still on my side screen. He's a career 542 pitcher. He's been in the bigs for 9 years, played for like 37 teams. He's got a 542 career ERA. And he's got the guts to go out there and say, I play on the worst team, and the Mets suck. I get it. The Mets are terrible. Run organization. Terribly coached, terribly run. Players don't live up to that. Whatever. The Mets suck. I feel bad for my man, Brian Cameron from PSN, having to be a Mets fan. But the fact that he went out there and said, I play on the worst team in the world. What is this? We got somebody spamming our comments about job hirings. Yeah, we're not even going to put that up there. We're just going to delete that comment. Don't really do job hiring posts in here. He's like the Tobias Harris of pitchers. No, Jorge Lopez is even worse than it. Taijuan Walker, Phillies pitcher, would be the Tobias Harris of the Phillies rotation. But Jorge Lopez would be like I don't even know who to compare him to. Back end guy on a team. He's the James Bradburn. He's I don't know. I'm trying to think of who was guys that, were terrible on the Sixers this year on the bench. He's just not a good player. He's the Tony Roten of the Mets. He's the James Anderson of the Mets. That's it. But can you think of this? This guy may have ended his 9-year Major League career on Wednesday night saying this. Because how do you even bring him into your team, your organization? Daryl Morey of pitchers. He didn't have hype to disappoint us. Daryl Morey has hype and disappoints us. Jorge Lopez is just a bad pitcher, plain and simple. So I want to get anybody's opinions on this Jorge Lopez thing, how crazy it is for a player to actually come out and say, I play on the worst team ever. And then the other part of the equation that I wanted to bring up here now in the final 15 minutes of the show is Bryce Harper. Now, Bryce Harper is under a lot of criticism right now. Why? Because the other day he did not run out a ground ball. And the throw from the shortstop was high, pulled the first baseman off the bag, but he had enough time to gather himself and touch the bag still. And it's very un-Bryce Harper-like. And Bryce Harper is getting from the media a lot of criticism, a lot of major criticism. You got Marcus Haystack out there tweeting awful things. I saw instantly him not run out the ball. And the first thing that I thought of was not to criticize Bryce Harper. Because I think Bryce Harper's earned the benefit of the doubt to not be criticized over one mental lapse, over one mental blunder. My mind went instantly, when I saw Bryce Harper not run out a ground ball, my mind instantly went to, is he okay? Because that's so on Bryce Harper-like. My mind went to, let's hear what Bryce has to say after the game before we criticize him. Now there's the argument floating around that Philly fans are getting soft because we used to criticize Jimmy Rollins whenever he did it. But Jimmy Rollins did it all the time. Jimmy Rollins always played with that playoff swagger, but then in the regular season, let's save ourselves. Let's not always run it out. And Charlie Manuel, even players manager, just like Rob Thompson, would even bench Jimmy Rollins occasionally when he'd play like that. But we're talking Bryce Harper here. We're talking about a surefire Hall of Famer in the prime of his career that has literally given 110% every single second since the day he became a Philadelphia Philly. And we're not going to question anything but his lack of hustle on one ground ball. I thought he was hurt. I was already in the game talking about on Twitter that Bryce Harper's body language seemed off the entire game. And that's what I'd rather people be discussing. Not whether Bryce Harper should be criticized for running out a ground ball or not. There are people saying, why run it out? You know, why overexert yourself in June or May when it's a 162-game season? Let him take a playoff, not the end of the world. See, the thing is, it's like he took a playoff or he was hurt. We don't know. Because instead of anybody asking the questions of why he did it, everybody was just ready to jump down his throat, or B, jump down to the throats of fans that weren't willing to jump down the throat. Instead of asking why. Why did his body language look off the entire game? Jimmy Rollins took plays off all the time. Jimmy Rollins didn't run out ground balls all the time. This is the first time I can remember seeing Bryce Harper not give 110% on any play. Also, mind you, the play he didn't run out, he was thrown in the head at twice before that. Okay? We had a bench clearing scuffle. It was just bench clearing until Pat the Bat Barrel decided to start a shoving match with somebody. Pat Barrel chose the wrong side. Never go against the family, Pat Barrel. You're dead to us now. The body language was just off when he was fielding ground balls, when he dug a ball from Edmundo Sosa, I believe, out of the dirt on a play. And even that, he made a great defensive play, and he just looked miserable. Something was off with Bryce Harper. Maybe someone crapped in his Cheerios in the morning. I don't know. But the media instantly and the fans instantly wanted to jump down throats instead of asking questions first and then decide. The criticism is plain stupid. The media is always going to create a narrative. And a majority of the fans just go into whatever the media says or believes or thinks or does. They jump right down and they just follow the big names. If you've got 30,000 followers, whatever you say, we're going to jump down and agree with you on. The media creating a narrative and steering the fans into a certain angle. And it's kind of frustrating. The media could have instead, Marcus Hayes, and I think I bet you I could find the Marcus Hayes tweet. Because the Marcus Hayes tweet, it's annoying. And Marcus Hayes is a guy, 20 years ago, I respected. 20 years ago, I thought was one of the better journalists. But journalism is dying in this city. It's dying. Okay? And it's a problem. I'm sure some of you saw the reports of viewership for newspapers, how much it's gone down. And I tweet way too much. Here it is. All right. Marcus Hayes' tweet was, Bryce Harper exhausted from posturing after being not hit by a pitch. Declines to run out a ground ball. All right. Marcus Hayes. And I'm going to call you out. And you know what, again, I'll have a debatable conversation with you if you want. All right? But you're phrasing your tweet in a way to create drama, in a way to purposely start trouble. Bryce Harper, comma, exhausted from posturing after not being hit by successive pitches, comma, declines to run out the ball. You're making an issue where there is no issue. Or maybe there's a bigger issue, an injury, something personally wrong with him. Why? Instead of instantly reacting like that, think about it first. I want the Eagles defense to play like the Ultimate Warrior wrestled. Run to the ring, body slam everybody, then run to the locker room. Yeah, absolutely. Bryce Harper could not run for mayor, or could run for mayor. He could run for president, honestly. He'd win the state of PA, Jersey, and Delaware, that's for sure. And honestly, not to get political, I said it again yesterday on Twitter last night. Everybody's either so far left or so far right now, up their own asses because of what happened yesterday in the court of New York City, that I'd rather Bryce Harper. Hell, I'd rather Taylor Swift run for president right now. You're telling me 350 million Americans and those two curmudgeons are the best two guys we got to run for president? Bryce Harper would smash them both in a presidential election and probably be a better president. The man is a competitor, Bryce Harper. He plays with intensity, which comes with good and bad. We love the attaboy, Bryce, but when it's a bad moment, we want to crucify him. But I bet you if the media that fans look to, if Marcus Hayes would have put out, I'm going to do some digging tonight and see if there's something wrong with Bryce Harper, because that was unlike Bryce Harper. Put that out first. And then when he finds out what the real reason is, then gives the story or makes his opinion known. Then the fans would not be crucifying him. Journalism died in Philly when Iverson won it. Yeah, is that it? I saw a Philadelphia Inquirer newspaper at Wawa. It's very thin nowadays. Dude, they're getting like 20,000 of them a day are sold. The Sunday paper, which used to be the biggest paper, I used to deliver a lot of them, used to be 600,000 to 1 million a week were purchased. It's like 30,000. It's insane. The media, the newspaper business, it's dead. It is literally, legitly dead. Oh, it's up, Joe. It's okay. I did give out the rest of the quarterback ranking. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 4, Jalen Hurts. We actually spent a lot more time talking Sixers and the NBA today than I thought we would. Read Football Stories. It's great and it's free. Absolutely. Absolutely. Football Stories. Guys, real journalism is that, like, is it really that hard? I know my following hasn't grown by leaps and bounds over the last 4 years, but I can respect myself by what I put out there. I make some overreactions in the middle of a game for an Eagles game, but outside of that, I try to keep things fair and honest. And all these main media guys that we used to look to, that we used to respect, have fallen into a trap. And they feel like to compete with the clickbait artists, they've got to be clickbait artists. And it's kind of annoying. That Marcus Hayes tweet annoyed the living hell out of me. So much. So much. Even the Sunday edition. That's what I'm saying. Even the Sunday edition. That used to be the biggest, the early edition. The Sunday early edition that would come out on Saturday. That was part of my job with my dad growing up. We'd load up a gigantic box truck and deliver 500 to this food store, 400 to that Wawa, 300 to this gas station. That was our Saturday mornings growing up. Starting at the age of like 10, 11, my dad would bring me out with him. Help him do the heavy lifting. Me and my brother. I loved it. A, because it was work, but B, pay me $10 or whatever. B, because I could spend quality time with my father. But that's it. So I find Marcus Hayes' tweet funny. I think he meant it that way too. You think he meant it to be funny? That's interesting. See, the thing is, I don't. I don't think he meant it to be funny. Because Marcus Hayes has developed a reputation of not being funny, of being an a-hole, basically, Barbara. That's just my opinion. Marcus Hayes 20 years ago, 30 years ago, a guy I respected, a guy that was a legit journalist that would try to get to the bottom of the story. Now, Marcus Hayes is just a clickbait guy. And if he was trying to be funny, well, let me tell you, I didn't find it funny. The internet put newspapers out of business, same way artificial. Yeah, absolutely. I read an interesting was like a thread on Twitter of somebody that said they were working at one of the major newspapers a couple, like 10, 15 years ago or whatever. And they asked during the interview process whether the internet was their biggest fear of the next 10 years. And the person interviewing and training them said, no, we're not scared of the internet. I think it was the Inquirer, actually. And that person was like, in the interview process, knew that the paper business was going to die before he even started the job working at the newspaper, because they didn't have the Inquirer thought they were untouchable at a point. I never had a straight paper route, but I did the bulk. My dad had part-time jobs delivering bulk newspapers, places. So I helped them with that on the weekends. We did have a circular. Remember, you used to get the little plastic, instead of in your mailbox, you get the little plastic bag tossed on your doorstep with all the ads. We had that. We walked neighborhoods and delivered those. We had to stuff them into the bags and stuff. If there was a part-time job my dad could have on top of his full-time job, he had it. And he had us helping him. That's why all the Stiefels, we might not all agree on everything. We might not all be best friends every day. But we all got a great work ethic from our father, who worked 4 jobs with his 1 full-time job and 3 part-time jobs right up to the day he passed away. So, you know what? Paper routes. Kids, are there still paper boys? I don't even think you get papers delivered. But anyway, guys, we got to start the wrap-up process here of Trading the AM. Another fun-filled week. Shit. Forgot about my favorite Irish-American bar. Can't forget about Dolan's Bar. Make sure you check them out. If you're staying local to the Ridley Park area, go check out the bar that has been the quintessential Irish-American dive bar for the last 65 years. Dolan's Bar is at 24 East Sellers Avenue in Ridley Park, right off of I-95, south of the Philly airport. They have great food, great drinks, great music, great time. You never know. Philly sports icon can walk in at any time. Go check them out. Tell PJ, EOP, Trading the AM sent you. DolansBar.com. You can find them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Again, Dolan's Bar, Ridley Park. Check them out. Also, 7-day-a-week program. That's why it's so important that you hit the like and subscribe button. We've got the Fighting Final, Phillies postgame show tonight, and Steel Steps. It says 9 a.m. I think that's a misprint. I don't think they're on right now, Steel Steps. But anyway, make sure you check out all the great programming right here on Edge of Philly, 7 days a week. That's why the subscribe button is so critical, guys. With that, we've got like 8 new comments there. I wish I'd love a paper route. Yeah. Brad said, hey, good morning. Your thoughts on the Phillies game tonight versus the Cardinals? I think we've got a great series. I didn't really get much time into the Phillies today other than Bryce Harper here at the end. Taijuan Walker, could you imagine this? Taijuan Walker is starting on Sunday this week and on Sunday in London next week. How's Taijuan Walker still? I think we take 2 out of 3. We got Nola and we got Walker, or Nola and Suarez going this weekend. I think we take 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals. And again, it'll be another team that's not above 500 that we beat in a series, because they're 500 now. And if we take 2 out of 3, they won't be a 500 team. I was raised on the Philly newspaper. We used to get the Delaware County Times during the week, and then the Inquirer on the weekends. Yeah, have a great weekend, Barb. Have a great weekend to everybody. Salute to the Core 12. Sorry, I got to wrap this up, guys. Got myself a big-ass catering order that came in last second that I got to get in for. No overtime today. But, guys, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow, do all those things. Find me on Twitter or TikTok or Instagram, because I'm going to be putting the quarterback list up this weekend online. And I know I'm going to get crushed for some of it. So I'm going to need you guys to back me up. That's right. Go Phillies, for sure. Always go Phillies. Ring that damn bell is the only thing that we need to say. It'll be back to go Birds in due time. But it is go Phillies. That's right. It's go Birds. It's ring the bell. It's 10, 9, 8, 76ers. It's where's Michkov? It's I can watch the Wooder Dogs tomorrow, but I can't watch the Philadelphia Union. Everybody have a great weekend. I will see you guys next week on Monday. Who knows what we'll talk about? I wrote down like 20 topics for today. I only covered like 4 of them. We got a jam-packed week next week, guys. I will see you next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Ring the bell. Go Birds. And bubbles up.